bring in the money men, starting with business and market analyst, NewsMax contributor Seth Denson, and America's accountant, Dan Geltrude. Gentlemen, good to have you here.
Hey, good morning, Christina.
Well, let's start with the markets. The Dow Jones trading a little lighter yesterday, but still making gains, ending the day up nearly 96 points. The S&P and the Nasdaq both ending in the red. Seth, Tuesday's gains not as big as Monday's. What do you see heading into 2022?
Yeah, I mean, we can't have massive gains, record-breaking gains every day, can we? Now, listen, I think that investors are just kind of treading water here through the end of the year. We knew we'd get a little bit of a Santa Claus rally, but now it's kind of slowing down. They're waiting to see what this Omicron does. Obviously, the markets like the fact that CDC shortened the quarantine period to 5 days. I think going into 2022, the markets are going to remain strong. A lot to be questioned about Q2, Q3 of 2022 based on what monetary policy is, new variants that come out, what the economy does overall. But by and large, going into 2022, good news for the markets.
And this is interesting. I want to talk a little bit about something that's been making headlines this week, a tax dodge for the ultra wealthy. It's the so-called peanut butter secret. It was designed for small businesses, but it somehow turned into a way for Silicon Valley to avoid taxes on investment profits by kind of stacking tax breaks. Dan, what exactly is this? Can you kind of explain it to the average person who watches Wake Up America?
Sure. Not to get into the weeds too much here. It's called the qualified stock QSBS. What it basically does here is it allows small businesses to be able to give stock and then have an exemption of up to $10 million of capital gains. But the way the rule was written didn't really put a lot of qualifications in terms of it really could apply to a lot of people. So what they basically did is these investors started gifting stock to other people, children, friends, family, and they spread this tax benefit over a large group of people. So when you say it's up to 10 million, you give it to 10 people. Now you have $100 million worth of stock, capital gains, that escaped all that tax. So it became a tremendous tax dodge.
I mean, I see
Christine,
why they call it.
This is a good point. This is a good reason why when bureaucrats make rules, listen, the rest of Americans go hire brilliant accountants like America's accountant, Dan Geltrude, to say, how do we navigate these rules, right? And this is a really big reason why when Democrats talk about changing tax policy, they don't really understand that it's going to impact the middle class and the working class the most, because those that have the money have the ability to hire really brilliant accountants and lawyers to say, how do we navigate these waters? Because the bureaucrats that wrote these laws don't always know what they're doing.
I mean, well, it's interesting because I was wondering, why are they calling it the peanut butter secret? But what Dan just said, they spread it out to family and friends, which is kind of the opposite of the next thing we're going to talk about. Another trend that the ultra rich are kind of moving towards is actually some of the world's wealthiest have decided that they're not leaving fortunes to their offspring. Many are donating their money to philanthropic causes. Others are just kind of determined to make their kids learn the value of work. Take a look at this list. There's Bill Gates, Jackie Chan, Kiss legend Gene Simmons, Gordon Ramsay, Elton John, George Lucas. What message is this sending, Dan?
Well, you could look at this a couple of ways. One way is to say, well, they want their children to learn the value of a dollar. The other aspect of this is that they have the ability in giving their fortunes away to lessen their tax load, because over approximately $22 million, if you're married, you have to pay estate taxes after that. These people are so wealthy, they are subject to enormous estate tax. So what they simply do is they give their fortunes away. Thereby, they get to choose where their dollars go, as opposed to allowing the government to decide where their money goes. And that's the play.
And speaking of a lot of people in the entertainment industry, Broadway closed during most of the pandemic, finally opening up earlier this year. I mean, just to have Omicron shut shows down one by one, it's normally a huge profit, especially for this time of year in theaters. Seth, theaters can't make money if they don't have shows. I mean, it's a pretty easy equation there. Can the industry survive during so much uncertainty?
Yeah, I think the industry ultimately will survive, but there's going to be a lot of casualties along the way, specifically those brilliant actors and actresses and the artists, but even the people behind the scenes that make Broadway really work. You got 41 theaters that generate about, on a normal year, pre-pandemic, about $1.7 billion in revenue. And there's about 15 million people that go to Broadway every year. I've been there. It's a fantastic place. But the average show still struggles to make money in the best of times. So I think that Broadway, by and large, will survive. It always has. There's a lot of folks that help support Broadway, and they should. But we really should think about all these actors and the people behind the scenes that really make Broadway work. They're the ones that are going to be penalized the most by these shutdowns.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the first shutdown, we had to see, actors had to find other jobs, leave the city completely. It's tragic. But thank you so much, our money men. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.